How many of you have ever had a stir-fry dish? Now, how many of you have ever made a stir-fry dish? Today, I'm going to inform you on how you can use one cooking technique to make a wide range of meal options. As a college student, we constantly look for the cheapest and easiest ways uh, to make by using our ingredients before they go bad. Stir frying is an easy way to use up leftover ingredients and make a brand new dish. I stir fry daily for my family of nine, and it challenges me to use multiple ingredients you know, to fulfill what everybody wants. So there are 5 steps to stir frying. Knowing the technique, choosing ingredients, the setting up, cooking, and the serving. So before you stir fry, I think it's a good idea if we get to know what it is. So the definition of stir fry, according to dictionary.com, is to cook food quickly by cutting into small pieces and stirring constantly in a lightly oiled wok or frying pan over high heat. Stir fry is a noun for a dish of stir-fried meat, vegetables, etc. Method of cooking originate. This method of cooking originated from and is very common in Chinese cookery. Common stir-fried dishes you may know of would be orange chicken, kung pao shrimp, and chow mein, which is a noodle dish. After knowing what stir fry is, now you need to know what you want in your stir fry. So some of the necessities will be oil, salt, and pepper. And then for the meat or protein, chicken, pork, beef, seafood, and even tofu for vegetarians. For vegetables, you can almost anything you use uh will make it delicious. For me, I personally like to use green onions with scallions. And then once you choose your favorite, you're ready to go. Another couple options you could put in there for extra flavoring would be oyster sauce or garlic. After you choose your ingredients, the next step is setting up or mise en place. Mise en place. It's a French phrase which means to make or set up. The toughest part about stir fry is choosing how much of the ingredients you want to be using. If you prefer more meat or more protein, you will use less vegetables. And if you want less protein, you use more vegetables, obviously. But when you do use vegetables, just a reminder that they tend to shrink, but they do soak up the flavor more. So consider that when you're cooking, that vegetables will shrink. So if you if you put in a lot, once it's done cooking, it might not look like that. Also, when using proteins, they should be cut into bite-sized pieces, thin enough to be cooked all the way evenly without it looking very thin, but also thick enough that it'll still be holding all the flavor in it. Vegetables are usually cut about an inch length, and the same rule of thumb, thin enough to be cooked evenly. After all the prep, the most important step here is obviously stir frying. So what you want to do is you want to start with the longest ingredients to cook and to the quickest. So you want to do it from the most ingredients to the quickest ingredients. So you want to turn your heat on to high, pour your oil in, and then wait until the oil heats up, and then you throw in your meat, your garlic, your ginger, your seasoning, and stuff like that. And then you can test if it's ready by placing a little bit of meat on the oil to see if it sizzles. And when it does, it's ready. So once it does happen, you throw everything else in there, start stirring it up until everything looks good to go. Everything looks cooked, brown, crispy, and then you'll throw in your veggies. You don't want to throw in your veggies before because then your veggies are going to be overcooked and it's not going to be able to taste good enough. So you want to throw in your veggies last because they cook the fastest. So, for example, you want to put onions longer in. You want to put onions in before you put cilantro in because onions will take longer, but cilantro will cook faster. And then after all the protein and all the vegetables have been stirred and fried together, you season it with salt, pepper, oyster sauce, sriracha, anything that you want to use. It's up to your preference, pretty much. And then there are never really any direct measurements. You just taste as you go. You just pour in as much as you want, and then you would taste it. If it tastes good, you're good to go. If it doesn't taste good, you would think about what you would want to add, and then you just add it until it uh, becomes up to your preference. So after the taste has been perfected, you would turn off the stove, and then you get ready to serve. And then when you serve, you as the chef get the opportunity to enhance the dish in any way you like. So you would scoop out a serving fit for yourself onto a plate, and then you garnish if you like. I usually use leftover cilantros or chili peppers. I'll just sprinkle on the top. Stir fry always tastes amazing with rice. Extra boiled steamed vegetables are also a nice way to add to the dish. So stir frying is meant to be quick and easy to satisfy the consumer. Let's do a quick review to remind you of how you can personalize your own stir fry dish. To stir fry, you need to know the technique of stir frying, choosing which ingredients you'll be using, setting up, cooking with the stir fry method, and finally, serving. You, as the chef, get to mix and match multiple types of protein and vegetables by simply using the stir fry method to create an endless number of stir fry dishes. I hope my speech enables you with the knowledge to try something new and without specific directions or measurements in order to cater yourself and your preferences. When you stand in your fridge and you're wondering how to use up your leftovers, just remember, try stir fry.